Wedged onto the earth between Europe and Greenland is this little volcanic island. Much of the countryside is somber, surreal, and almost foreboding, with dark mountains and lava fields covering much of the land, interspersed with glaciers and majestic waterfalls, which lend a strange beauty to this incredible country. Our journey started in the capital, Reykjavik, with the iconic Hallgrímskirkja dominating the skyline. These almost grotesque-looking figures depicting dance greet you on your arrival at the must-see Perlin Museum. The museum houses wondrous exhibits, including an ice cave, temperature inside minus 15 degrees, an incredible northern lights show projected on the 360-degree dome roof, a lava show, and much, much more. Hey, way to go! A stainless steel model of a Viking longship stands in the harbour, honouring Iceland's history of seafaring and exploration. We leave Reykjavik and head north to explore the west and northwest of the country. The scenic Snæfellsnes Peninsula did not disappoint, displaying its rugged cliffs, moss-covered lava fields, waterfalls, green valleys, and quaint little churches. There's a rugged beauty everywhere you look. I climbed down through these massive lava rocks to see the black sand beach below, so formed by lava covering the beach, cooling and finally weathering. On the north side of the peninsula, the scenery is just as strangely beautiful. And another delightful little church. While waiting for the car ferry to cross the Breda Fjord to explore the extreme northwest of the country, we killed time with a few frosties. Don't ask the price. This part of Iceland is only accessible in summer and has untouched landscapes due to the heavy snowfalls in the winter. The weather was foul with rain and mist. Cliffable is a stone statue known as the man who watches over the travellers on Cliffahædi Heath. The spectacular Dunjandi waterfall is the tallest and largest waterfall in the region. There are a few of these tunnels through the mountains. This one turns one way in the middle. A bit hair-raising. And now we turn south, zigzagging around the fjords to to Lagerbakkie, stopping at Holmavik for a soup lunch. Another magical waterfall. Heading for the east coast now. This car is rigged to beep you a warning when you get too close to the middle line or the shoulder. Not sure what this was, but you get beautiful views down the valley from here. The sheep in Iceland are free to roam during the summer months, but are gathered together in winter during a process called retir, or roundup. Kvaðserkir is a marvellous sea stack shaped like a three-legged creature in the north of Iceland, also known as Rhino Rock. Was it cold there? You better believe it. And the scenery gets more stunning. Another magic waterfall, and they're getting grander. It doesn't seem so volcanic up here. Oh my word, Godafoss in all its splendor. Beautiful. It's one of the most spectacular waterfalls in the country. The name can be read as Waterfall of the Gods, derived from two crags at the falls that resemble pagan idols. Húsavík is the oldest settlement in Iceland. 50 kilometers from the Arctic Circle and one of the world's best places to see whales. These are the Mývatn nature baths, out in the sticks and not as touristy as the Blue Lagoon near Reykjavik. Water temperature is about 38 degrees Celsius and packed with minerals, particularly sulfur, which is said to be good for respiratory and skin problems. God, I need all the help I can get. Drink anyone? This area has marked out hiking trails through the lava. Fascinating. Strange walking through these twisted rocks. You almost expect to see a prehistoric monster appear around the next bend. These Chinese have weird headgear to protect them from the bugs. The Namafjall Riviera has a unique landscape of steaming pools and mud pots. The strong smell of hydrogen sulfide attacks your senses. I took a careful look at the bubbling mud pools, hissing vents, and steaming fumaroles. Looks like a witch's cauldron. Now this is interesting.
This is one of only 2 places in the world where above sea level we can see 2 continental plates diverging or moving apart. On my left I have the North American plate, and on my right I have the Eurasian plate. Although it's only a small fissure here, it's part of an entire rift section that's known as the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, and it runs through Iceland and continues for 65,000 kilometres, tearing apart the bed of the Atlantic Ocean in a process that's called seafloor spreading. It's mainly an underwater mountain range, and it runs all the way to Bouvet Island, which is located 2,000 kilometres southwest of the Cape of Good Hope.
Well, we just had to visit such a place. Spreading by 2 centimetres a year. Wow. We also visited the Pingvalier Valley and the Sulphur Fissure, part of the same divergent tectonic drift plates. Here they go a step further and have diving tours into the crevasse.
Yeah, so we go diving right in there. It's 2 degrees, the water, 2 degrees Celsius.
We turn south and head down the east coast. The scenery gets more spectacular, and amongst these incredible mountains, we found this old Viking village to explore. But the fellow there burst our bubble when he said,
"It's from an abandoned movie set from 13 years ago, and it was supposed to be recorded, but it was for an Icelandic movie that never got to be released."
However, I did get to talk to this old Viking descendant.
Viking bjór er besti bjór í heimi.
I think he said the beer is good. Now we start one of the highlights of our trip, a visit to the Jökulsárlón Glacier and Lagoon. You can see the glacier's 2 arms in the distance. The glacier carves off chunks all the time, which float around the lagoon, slowly melting. We kit up and make our way to the inflatable. No, that's not us. This is. We picked our way through huge chunks of ice in the inflatable. A highlight was when, right in front of us, a huge chunk of ice which had broken from the glacier carved again. Fantastic! finally we arrive at the face of the glacier. All these bits float off in the current, under the bridge and into the sea. The tide deposits them back on the beach and creates a magical spectacle. The locals call it Diamond Beach. The weather was so foul that I couldn't get a pic, so I borrowed one from the net. Diamond Beach. The Stroku Hot Springs area boasts this geyser, which blows up every 5 to 10 minutes. Talk about wasting an SD card. Not far away is the Kerio volcano. It's a crater lake, one of the 3 most recognizable volcanic craters in Iceland. And its caldera is composed of red rather than black volcanic rock. This shot shows you the size of it compared to the figures walking along the rim. Don't you think this house would be terribly damp and dank inside? On the last leg now. Another black beach with stunning backdrop. But oh, the weather. They have this sign in the car park, which tells you whether it's safe on the beach or not. Apparently they have rogue waves that occasionally rear up and take you away. The lights at the top denote conditions, so today it's medium hazard. Skogafoss is one of Iceland's biggest and most beautiful waterfalls. When you get up close, it's a thundering brute of cascading water. This one really got me. On we go, passing acres and acres of the moss-covered lava fields. Until we meet the granddaddy of them all, Gullfoss, considered the king of Iceland's waterfalls. Gullfoss simply means golden waterfall. It's the largest waterfall in Europe by volume. Our last visit was to the lava tunnels, which are the byproduct of the volcanic process themselves. They form either as a result of surface cooling of lava flows or the result of sequential lava flows, with later flows going underneath the older ones. Yes, we did eventually work it out.